Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome into the DFS Minute. I'm your host, Michael Rathburn, aka Rath. Hit me up on Twitter at FantasyWrath. You want to follow me? Talking today here on rotocurve.com about the news that came out over the last couple of days. Victiv did have an additional round of funding at $2.5 million, so that's good. You know, that was kind of like the last domino to fall with all the DFS sites right now, with all the main ones in terms of what was going to happen. There were rumors floating around. Possibly they were going to jump in with Poker Stars and Amaya. Were they going to raise an additional rounds? What were exactly, were they going to enter into a different partnership, etc.? I think all those things were probably on the table. Now that we see something happen at the end of July, I mean, this is basically it. Like if you don't have your ducks in a row by the end of July, and that's like pushing it, because you've got to have NFL planned and ready to go pretty much July 1st, and then all you're doing is lining everything up. So for the most part, these sites, are getting ready to go. So what does that mean for Victiv? Obviously, good news, additional round of funding. They do have a pretty heavy infrastructure of developers and programmers there, so that is not cheap. That is expensive. So, I mean, look, we all want to see sites with money grow and be successful, and we do know it's tough outside of the top two to get market share. Pretty much you're fighting over a very small piece of pie, but a very attractive pie that's growing. So that's what's tough. The thing about me with Victiv that's been good and bad. One of the things was I'm not a fan of the baseball product at all. I don't like the roster setup. I don't like the bullpen situation with the pitchers. And I have not played there, and I won't play there. But the issue with the rosters is that basically what they did was they made basically like utility spots for the non-outfield positions. The problem with that is, while in theory that sounds great, and you think, oh, it just means you can make flexible lineups, it's easier to make lineups, etc. It's actually not, in the sense that, yeah, it's easier to make a lineup, but it's not better for gameplay, because what happens is catchers, second baseman, and shortstop, unless it's one of the top one or two, are basically eliminated from the game. There's no value in those players. You're loading up on first baseman and third baseman if you've got 4 utility infield spots. So that's the problem with that, is it's removing a significant portion of the players from the pool, and eliminates a lot of the strategy. And so from that perspective, it's not good. So I really like, I think they went too far. I like what Aces has done, where it's, they force you to pick a second baseman, shortstop. And they have 2 spots for that. So if you want to roll with 2 shortstops, 2 second basemen, that's fine. They also do the first base, third base, force you to pick a corner. And then you also have that utility spot. So I think, that's one of the things that you got to look at. Also, Fantasy Feud has 2 utility spots, which is nice as well. So it's one of those things where I think sometimes being too cute and being too different can hurt you. And I do think that hurt the baseball product. It's a good site. It's got good people running it. I think that was just a major flaw and a misstep in what they did. The good thing is, I did like what they did last year with NFL. I did like their NFL product. I'd like to see them, hopefully come out with a nice college football product. I like the fact that they're in PGA. So, from that perspective, hopefully lesson learned. And I'm really excited about college football on Victiv. I think there's going to be opportunity there. What does Victiv need to be successful? I think, it's not one thing in particular. Like, can't really wave a magic wand and say, hey, if you guys do this, you're going to be, successful or whatever. I think it's more, there's not a lot of content out there on Victiv. That can be good and that can be bad. That's one of the things. There's not a lot of content out there on Victiv. There's not a lot of tools out there with Victiv, and I think that's where they have to kind of step up and develop partnerships with some of these affiliate sites, as far as providing content, providing tools, and getting the name out there. I think that would be one of the things I would look at. The other one is create a live event or a live final, or end of the year final, etc., where it's exciting and it's not the same as what everyone else is doing. I think that would be, get creative with some of the contests and some of the things. you know, we're seeing something like DraftKings is doing this missions week, you know, tying it in with the Mission Impossible movie, which is pretty cool. And it's all wrapped around entering just different types of contests and smaller contests and engagement. It's all about getting people to come back on the site every day. And I think that's something that, you know, Victiv needs to look at and do something on a smaller scale and start rewarding players for playing consecutive days and things like that. It's something that we did at Daily Joust. So we had the badge program, and you got rewarded for playing on consecutive days. And you racked up badges. The badges qualified you for free rolls. And so it paid off. So I think if I'm Victiv, you know, look at developing something that's, you know, a rewards program that rewards repeat play, different sport play, different opponent play, all that kind of thing, and just be, you know, try to carve out a niche and be different. Your platform's different. The platform's different, which is good. It's pretty slick. Some might say it's actually too slick, but you know, from that perspective, let's not just try to be the same daily fantasy site as everybody else. Let's try to do something, be creative with contests. You know, and things like that. So that would be kind of my take on that. And so we're going to hit you up with another DFS Minute video here this morning. We're going to talk about some other things in the industry. So hit us back here later on today. As we always say here at Roto Curve, stay classy, DFS.